Welcome to another weekly preview. It's AK47 from Prime Trading Investments and TradeCaster.com. And oh my gosh, the large caps, we'll get into those, but the small caps and what the trend has been from March into April. I talked about this last week in the weekly preview. This week we have April 7th through the 11th, my favorite number, 7th through 11. Here we go. And we're carrying over March into April. And what the theme was in March. Plays with PRs aren't doing shit. Plays with PRs aren't doing anything. If anything, they pop up and come right back down that day. It's new IPO plays or plays with no PR like MLGO. Remember this one from last week I talked about? Well, the new play is AREB, another one of these plays that is spiking and spiking huge in the multi-day runners, because that's what we're seeing. Multi-day runners here. That's the theme across the board. Multi-day runners, okay? So watch for AREB to continue to run this week, and then by the end of this week, into Monday of next week, we're already looking at a new runner just like last week from MLGO to AREB. Now, that doesn't mean we won't see MLGO again possibly pop and spike up, because we certainly can. The other thing to be looking for, besides no news plays, are plays with new IPO plays, like Inmax that went from 14 to 287 in a matter of 2 days. That's a massive move. WTF, sympathy with it. On Thursday of last week, or whatever day it was, Tuesday of last week when that play ran. Look at the massive move for WTF. So new IPO plays, plays with PRs, very low flow plays, multi-day runners. That's what's going on in small cap world. Plays with PRs, forget about it. Now to large cap plays. I'm not going to give you the weekly preview. I'm going to give you all-time investment levels. Or should I say all-time, but I'm giving you long-term holds investment levels. Where to go long. Where should you invest on SPY and all these large cap plays as we had pullbacks. I've been talking about this since November of last year, saying we're going to see a pullback at some point, and when we do, where are the areas? The areas that I called for, I think, were great. They're perfect. But in the end, what happened? I didn't know Trump was going to be the president for sure, and then once he was, I didn't know he was going to set these tariffs in and be really aggressive right out of the gate. So now more of a pullback has happened, and so let's go through these levels. My original thought process for SPY was anywhere between 520 down to 495, somewhere in this area would be the bottoms on the SPY. Here's where you need to invest. Here's long. That was last year before I knew Trump was going to be president and he was going to get aggressive with tariffs. And the market was going to go crazy and react to it. So now we're in, this is now risky biscuits. It could still bounce here. It could still bounce here. The safer area is going to be down here around 460 to 450. Original 52-week high, original all-time high, original breakout zone from a year or two plus ago, right? Now the super safe area, and I doubt we'll see it, is 425 down to 410. This is the AK's bottoms. I put that in forever ago, and I was right all over it. I said we would not see lower than that purple dotted line, and look how close we got. And I was all over it, and look at the return from it. We'll get to Amazon in a second. I was yelling from the rooftops in 2022 to get in between $180, and said by 2025, she'd be back up to $225 to $250, and Amazon is exactly right there this year. So again, risky biscuits area here, safe area here, 460 down to around 450. Super safe area, anywhere below that, you're good to go. Let's go to Apple now. Same. I thought the original bounce was going to be right where we're at now, anywhere from 200 down to around 190. That's risky biscuits. It could still bounce. I would go lower in this mid-level I'm giving to all these plays. The safe area, 175 to 165. Somewhere in this area right through here. The super safe area, anything below that. Anything below 165, 145, 155. Anywhere down through this. I doubt we'll see the super safe area. I very, very highly doubt it. I really do. I really highly do. But just giving you the levels. I would go with the 175 to 165 corridor. AMD, same thing. The original area for me, and I was telling everybody this last November as we were already coming down, would be watch for a bounce play. Anything below this line in 100 is great, down to 80. 80 to 100, somewhere in here. Now that's the risky biscuits area, with the safe area coming now the next level below, 70 down to 60. 70 to 60, super safe. Anything below that is good to go. Right now we're in risky biscuits bounce. The safer, better area is 70 to 60. Let's go over to Google. Same thing. Risky biscuits area, we're in it now. I thought we'd see no lower than 150 to 140 before the whole tariff talk. Now with tariffs and reaction to the market, 130 down to 120 is the safe area. That's where I would go. Super safe, anything below that. I doubt we'll see it, but you got it. 130 to 120 for Google. For Meta, the original area is right through here. 540 to 500, somewhere in here. I just did not think 540 to 500 we would see any lower. Now the safer area is that next level down, which is going to be somewhere between this 450 area down to around 420. 450 to 420, that's where I would be going for a bounce play. The super safe that I doubt we'll ever see is a move back down here to this 350-40 area and the breakout from it. I doubt we'll ever see this area again. So risky biscuits, we're at it now. Super safe, here it is. Ultra safe, way back down here. Let's go over to NVDA here. NVDA, same thing. It's like AMD. Anything below 100 down to 80, I thought was great. Anywhere in this area, 90, anywhere in this area was fine. Well, it was for a while, as we did get the bounce earlier last year, and then it moved up, and I still was telling everybody that's it. But now with the tariffs and moving down, the better area is going to be 75 to 65. Risky biscuits, we're at it now, 100 into 80. The better area, 75 into 65. And again, just like Meta, I doubt we ever get back to the super duper way down yonder in the Chattahoochee level. Over to the Qs. The area that I figured we'd touch and we're at, the risky biscuits area as I'd call it now, is right here. Anything between 400 to 420. Somewhere in this area is where I figured we'd get down to, and I was telling everybody back in November where to get a bounce play at. Now with tariffs, that's risky biscuits area, with the safer area coming between 395 to 380. 395 to 380 safe area. The super safe area that I doubt we ever see, 350 down to 340. And Tesla, risky biscuits area, we're at it right now, anywhere between 250 and 220. I thought that would be the bounce play and we'd get no lower, again, before tariffs. This is the end of last year, before Trump's ever president. Now with the tariffs and back down, the safer area, although I was mentioning this last year, and I said anything under 200 is great. And that's still actually viable for Tesla. So 200 down to 180.75 area, right through here is where I'd be going for a bounce play. I doubt we get to the super safe zone, which would be at this 140 and anything below 150. So there are your areas on SPY and across the board. Just going back to the SPY to make it easy for you guys. We're right now and across the board from Apple to all the way to Tesla. We're in the risky biscuit zone. We're in the original zone. I figured we'd get the bounce, but that's risky now, being because we're pulling back further. I knew we'd pull back. We'd get a pullback regardless from last year. But now with the tariffs and the market reacting to it, even more pullback, as you can see. The safe area is one more dip down, and I'd go to that middle area. Somewhere in here, go to the middle area I was showing you from all those different tickers and downward. I doubt we see the super low area, right? And of course, this is the risky biscuits area. This is just, you have to be very, very cautious if this is where you want to start getting in, unless you have a huge account. If you do have a huge account, well, that's fine, because then you can average as you get down to 450, 460, whatever, and you're going to work your way back up as we always do. Like I was telling everyone, go back to Amazon in 2022. I was telling everybody to average in anything under 100 down to 80. And the bottom ended up being 81.43. And I told everyone by 2025, my goal was to hold this for 2 years, if not longer, and I'm still in it, but to hold it for 2 years, and by at least 2025, we would see those numbers, 25. And so in my head, I was thinking 200, 225, 250. Somewhere between 200 and 250 we would see in 2025. And sure enough, we got that right at the end of last year and the beginning of this year. And I got most of my play. I'm only in 100 shares of the remaining, Anyway, so doing that again this time around. And I'm trying to narrow down which one I want to do. Last time it was Amazon because it was the better, sweeter, slow and steady play. I also talked about Tesla, NVDA, and Apple last time. Any of those would have worked out, as you can tell, quite nicely in the end. And obviously, NVDA would have been the banger of them all. But we're doing that again this time. I'm going to try to, and I'll let everyone know before I start averaging in on my play and what play I want to pick. But now you have levels on all those different tickers. You figure out, and I have some people that are going to be doing across the board, a little bit of egg, spread their, essentially put their money in different baskets. Instead of putting all their eggs in one basket, they're going to put their eggs in different baskets. I'm probably going to put my eggs all in one basket, maybe two, and really heavily rely on those two instead of just be spread out across the board. And I'll let you guys know, just like I did in 2022 when I did Amazon, what it is and where I'm averaging in at and what my cost basis is. But it will be one of these plays we talked about, and it will be in the price range that I just talked about right there for you guys. Have a great, safe, blessed, food-filled weekend. If you were affected by any of the crazy storms or all the weather, Arkansas in itself 2 weeks ago had 50 plus one day, and one of the days, of course, they were slowly put out, But it was the max. It was like 54, 55 wildfires across the state we had in Arkansas a couple weeks ago. 54, 55. And I remember hearing one of the meteorologists when they were going over the weather one day saying he never remembers a time. He's been here since the early 90s and can never remember a time ever that this happened in Arkansas, not even close to it. Now here we are 2 weeks later, and we had over half the state up until this morning, half the state in a flash flood warning. Now, I've never even heard of that really. A warning for flash flood, a watch, but half the state. And then I heard him literally yesterday, same meteorologist say, like he wasn't trying to compare the two, but him just say the same words again. Like, I never remember a time where we had half the state, over half the state, and a flash flood warning. Like, even you go to, like, he was saying, I remember, he's like, I've covered hurricanes and looked over them and he's like, very, very, very rarely will you have half the state, half of a state under a flood warning, which is crazy. So 2 weeks ago, we had 50 plus wildfires in our state. Fast forward a couple of weeks, and the whole state is saturated, is underwater. Crazy times. Stay safe out there. I'll see you here next Sunday for another weekly preview. Have a great week.